Say very good evening and Jai Bhim to all of you. My name is Jyoti. I have done my master degree in history from Ravenshaw University, Cuttack. So today I am going to talk about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose as the youth icon of freedom movement of India. So one of his famous slogan was "Give me blood and I will give you freedom." So these were not merely words; they were a challenge to the courage of India's youth, a call to a generation that had been born under foreign rule, yet dared to dream a free India. So today, as we celebrate the freedom that we inherited, let us pause for a moment and remember the young men and women whose courage made that freedom possible. Among them stand one extraordinary figure, not merely as a freedom fighter, not merely as a political leader, but a symbol of youth, courage, sacrifice, and uncompromising patriotism, and that man was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Just imagine India in the early 20th century, a generation that had grown up under British rule. They had been told that the British Empire was too powerful to defeat. They had been taught to accept their position as subjects. And then came a young Indian leader who looked at this generation and said, "You are not powerless. You are not born to remain subjects. You have the courage to change history." And that young man was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So Netaji was born on 23rd January 1897 in Cuttack, Odisha. From his early year, he was an exceptionally brilliant and determined student. He travelled to England and successfully appeared the Indian Civil Service exam and securing the fourth position. Just think about for a moment that he had everything that many young people dream of today, such as a prestigious career, security, status, and a respectable future. But Bose asked himself a much deeper question, that what is the value of my personal success when my country is not free? And in 1921 he resigned from the Indian Civil Service. Just think about the courage behind that decision. He did not walk away from failure, he walked away from success. He deliberately abandoned a secure career because he believed that his life belonged to a cause larger than himself. And perhaps that is the first reason why Subhash Chandra Bose became the true youth icon. He never asked the youth to make sacrifices that he himself was unwilling to make. He sacrificed first. But Netaji's story did not end with one personal sacrifice. He understood something far more powerful, that a nation cannot be awake without its awakening youth. He believed that young people possessed energy, courage, idealism, and the ability to challenge an unjust order. But he did not want that energy to remain only as emotions. He wanted to transform it into an organization, discipline, and action. He did not want India's youth merely to watch history, he wanted them to make history. That is why he worked with student and youth organization. He encouraged young Indians to participate actively in the national movement. He also supported the greater participation of women in the struggle for freedom. And a year later, when he led the Indian National Army, his message was not longer simply that wait for freedom. His message was Dilli Chalo, move forward, fight for freedom. And then came on the most powerful calls in the history of India's freedom struggle, is that तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा. So Netaji was not merely asking for soldiers, he was asking an entire generation to discover its courage. His message was uncompromising. Freedom was not a gift be passively received. Freedom demanded courage, organization, struggle, and sacrifice. That is why Subhash Chandra Bose remains relevant even today. Because being a youth icon is not about being young, it is about having the courage to question, the discipline to act, the strength to sacrifice, and the vision to think beyond yourself. Today we live in an India. We have the right to speak, we have the right to vote, and we have the right to dream. But the question before today's youth is, what will we do with the freedom that others have sacrificed their lives to give us? Will we use it only for ourselves? Or will we use our education, our talent, and our energy to build a stronger, more just, and more responsible India? Netaji's lives give us an answer that youth is a force that can challenge injustice, a force that can reject fear, a force that can transform dream into action. So, on this Independence Day, let us not remember Netaji only by repeating his slogan, let us remember him by adopting his spirit. Let us have courage to stand for what is right. Let us have the discipline solve for our nation, and let us have the confidence to believe that ordinary young people can do extraordinary things. And above all, let us never forget that the freedom we celebrated today was built upon the courage and sacrifice